Oh my goodness.
Okay. So now, if we just go back to /user, it should show the kegs that I've drank from, unless we broke it. Hey! Amount of beers. That is terrible. But, look at that. We have a thing. And now...
Amount of beers. There's a really easy fix for that.
No. What's up? Sure. All we did was user.beers.count. Because user.beers would return, every time we would shovel a keg into user.kegs, it would automatically create a beer, because that's our join. So it would take the ID of the user and it would take the ID of the keg and make a new instance of beer. So when we do user.beers, it goes through that join table, yeah, and counts everything with that user's ID. And then .count, like you could also do .length. .count is just a little more semantic. Thanks, Ruby.
Did you know that Chris Pine named his children C, Pearl, and Ruby? Oh. Yeah.
Let's do a thing. Let's see if it's working. I want a stout maybe keg. Okay. Hey, look at that.
Is there no confirmation that you've had a beer from...
There isn't, Celine. I think we should do that. How would we do that, Celine? Save our terrible app.
Without jQuery.
Ooh.
Without jQuery?
We could do that at the end.
We could.
Okay. All right. So.
You guys want to get a head start?
It counts as 1.5.
So we'll get to deleting. Let's do deleting now. Oh, we also haven't done it if a user is not logged in. Being able to click. So we can do that. Also, we'll get to deleting. Also, if you guys want to see JavaScript, just a very, very high level JavaScript stuff, we could do that too, if you're interested. But let's keep moving forward. I just wanted to like recap, since this has been like 2 hours.
Yeah, it's a little over 2 hours now.
Okay, so if a user goes to this page, but isn't logged in, we don't want them to be able to click on anything because it's not going to go anywhere, and then it's going to break our app. No one's going to know why, and then we'll get fired. So how do we only display this form when a user is logged in?
What was that?
If what?
Is this one of those cool games where like every other person says the next word?
I'm glad you thought of game. I thought of Children of the Corn. So if
we could have trade brains for like an hour one day.
I'm down. So if what?
If sessions that exist, user ID? Session,
What do we have in place that takes care of that for us? Boom. So we need, right? Let's see if that's all we need. So I'm logged in. Oh look, I can still click things. I don't have a logout yet, but there's a kind of a...
Is there a cheating way to do it?
There's a cheating way of doing it. Delete your cookie, and then refresh the page. This should be... Ooh, future. So now, if you're not logged in, you can't have a drink. Make sense? Super... What? So super cool. It's... Did you say racist? It's racist against those without a computer.
Which
Great.
is totally related to race.
Oh, completely. So, great. So now we have kind of a thing, right? It's a bit of an app.
A little bit.
I also don't have a login, so I have to create a user again. Hopefully it works. Look at that.
Ta-da!
I haven't had anything to drink. It's already 4 p.m. Okay, so now let's add delete, because create, read, update, delete. We also have to do update. We can do that too. But the unfortunate thing about update is we don't really have a lot of things we can update, because the only thing that a user has is an email and a password hash. And if we change the email, I imagine something could get rough. So
give them a tolerance.
Could give them a tolerance. Then we would have to remigrate everything.
How does well, okay.
What's up?
I was just gonna ask people how they would implement update if we did.
Yeah. Why don't we do that?
Maybe just keep it at that.
Let's discuss it.
Like, no, I mean
Oh
like
yeah, we could just add a field.
we could add a new migration. But for the sake of time, let's pretend that keg has a description field and that we can update it. We go through a lot of the same motions we already have. We would create a page that renders the form, and we would want to send that page somewhere with the form action. Yeah? So we'd send it to a route with the action, and then what else?
You know what?
Instead of a post?
Well, you'd have a method post, but then you also have a hidden.
Let's do it.
Okay.
We want the keg ID, right?
Yeah.
All right. So this will be easy enough to implement. There are a bunch of ways of doing it, but let's do it. So like, just edit a keg. Like if we want to change the brand, instead of the wow this is bad keg, we'll just change it to actually what's inside of it. So we need to go to our ERB and add just a link within our current user thing, right? Because we don't want anyone who's not logged in to change this stuff, right? And we named it this whole thing. And it is a GET request, right? Because it's going to it's basically just going to be rendering a form. What would go here? Yeah. Because we have access to keg, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Edit. Great. Hooray! That looks terrible, but it's there. And we just want to edit or render like a keg edit page. Keg edit page. And we got to make that view. Sorry, I'm like rushing through this, but it's recording, so shouldn't be too bad. All right. So when we go to the keg edit page, what do we want to see? Because we're only going to be able to change the brand of the keg, right? So what are we going to want to show the user to make it obvious that they can change the name of the brand of their keg? Yeah, exactly. So do you guys know about placeholder text? Cool. And once again, having to look at stuff. One day, I will actually remember how to make a form. The label name, brand, type. We don't even need to type, right? And that's just going to be brand. Okay. And placeholder would go here, right?
Would be better just to put in the value, like instead of putting like a grayed out placeholder, actually put value equals brand value type, literally put them. Yeah. And if they want to change it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good idea. It's a great idea. This whole like projector breaking thing is starting to freak me out. So what will we put in here? Any ideas? Yeah, so we don't really have anything that we can put in here right now because we haven't defined any instance variables. So we got to do that. What would this be equal to?
Okay,
Right? So we have a keg. Let's not worry about edge cases for now and just pretend that this is always going to work. But now what would I do here? Any ideas? What did Tim say? Right? Select keg.brand. So this should work. So let's see if it does. Let's the I don't know keg. Great. So that works. Hooray! But we got to change this action because that doesn't make any sense. So let's make another. Ooh, I heard some people say instead of using post, what would we use? Yeah. So how would we do that? So someone walk me through this because generally I apparently follow bad practice and I usually just make it a post instead of doing the putter patch. Okay.
Value
Name that. Okay. Wow, I think I've only done this once. So then the route here would be put, right? And then we're gonna look for. Well, we gotta change this. Let's just say kegs / I don't know. Edit. Who cares? Because we don't want to put the ID necessarily up there, up in the URL. So now with any luck, it should find this route, if we've defined this correctly. And what are we going to want to do? How are we going to change the brand of the keg with what the user typed in? Huh? Would it be selected keg? Yeah. Yeah. What params are we going to have? Yeah, that's all we're going to have. So how are we going to find which keg we should update? Yeah. Because right now all we have in params is another brand. Like we have no idea what keg that's gonna go to. Will the value still be put? The name would be that, right? That make sense? So let's print out. Oh yeah, you're right. That actually should probably be the value. Yeah, like keg or ID. Yeah, why not? So let's print out params and see we get back. See if it works. All right. Awesome. So we got it. So that's working. Hooray. Now we want it to change. We want to change that kegs brand. What method do you guys know that would do that? It's an active record method. Yeah. So it would just be, we want to select the keg. So let's just keg, just do selected keg again. Wow, not that. Did you really put that on your computer?
Of course.
Of course.
I love it.
That's hilarious. ID. Okay.
I just committed something.
Yeah, she is Gottlieb. So okay, so we have our selected keg, and we want to do update, right? And we want to change the brand. All right, and at the end of this, what are we going to want to do? Just say save. Update will save it. Yeah, but that's good. Like that's a good way of thinking about it. Okay, yeah, and we just want to redirect to /kegs, right? Since that's our like kind of root for our kegs controller. So now, oh yeah, now this should actually work. So yeah, I don't know keg. Let's change that. What should it be? YOLO. The YOLO keg. Okay, so now we have editing down. Hooray!